I was very impressed with Gran-Gran and the VV Cauldron deck yesterday. It was the best one drop in the deck. It sped the deck up a lot, in addition to giving the deck a lot of consistency. The VV Cauldron build was good, but I was, the Gran-Gran is a 1 mana blue legend, and I'm also like very enthused with the idea of Emry milling the yard to dig you for your Cauldron, and to also just mill over extra Fate Stitchers. If you're unfamiliar with the combo, the idea is that you're going to have a Gran-Gran in play. You're going to Cauldron a Fate Stitcher, and then you're going to have another non-summoning stick creature or a creature that you give haste with Lavaspur Boots or an Unearthed Fate Stitcher. So you just go tap Gran-Gran, untap your Cauldron, untap your Gran-Gran. You do this a ton of times. This gives you the ability to loot through your entire deck. In this deck, instead of needing to like Cauldron the VV, you can play Mox in from your hand that you loot into if you need more mana. And then the win condition is actually the same. We're gonna cast a Profs. We're going to Cauldron a Ballista, and we're going to use our Profs to have an infinite power creature. And if our opponent for some reason is holding up removal, we can either Spellskite to protect, or you can Fate Stitcher tap their mana to protect. When we talked about building this deck yesterday, this was not exactly how the plan was going to go. So the idea was that in this blue shell, we were more interested, instead of pairing Fate Stitcher, we were more interested in pairing it with, there's 2 3-mana cards. They're both pretty bad. One of them lets you untap another creature or 2 legendary creatures, which is a little bit more interesting than the other one that lets you untap any permanent. The upside to these cards is that Gran-Gran by herself with Cauldron goes infinite. You don't need another creature. That being said, it's not too tough to have another creature, and the power level of Fate Stitcher is so much higher. Being able to loot it away for value is insane. Being able to mill it over with Emry is insane. It is a really good activated ability to Cauldron, and you can either tap your opponent's stuff, untap your stuff. So I ended up going more in on the Fate Stitcher route. So that is not the only Cauldron in the. Sorry, that's not the only combo in this deck either. So your other infinite combo is with Rona. I guess there's a couple. There's more than maybe meets the eye going on with Rona here. So Rona is an awesome looter in this deck, right? Where your deck is just kind of all legendary spells. You're gonna be able to sift through your deck really well, discard Fate Stitchers for value. I think that's awesome. Dig for some action. When you're just drawing a lot of cards with Rona, like you go tap Rona, cast Mox, untap, cast Gran-Gran, tap, tap, tap. All of a sudden, Profs becomes a really good value card. So you have like a little bit of a value plan there. There's an infinite combo. If you give Rona Emry's ability, and you have a Moxen in the yard, then that gives you infinite mana because you get to go. I guess you have to have 2 Moxen, but you get to go cast a Mox, untap because of the legendary spell, cast a Mox. You keep doing that, you make infinite blue mana. Infinite blue mana is pretty good in your deck with it's pretty good in your deck with Walking Ballista, and then it's not too tough to win the game with infinite mana, especially in your Crystal Skull deck. So Rona plus Crystal Skull. Crystal Skull may be a card that some of y'all will need to read. This is a card from Assassin's Creed. Just as someone who consulted on the set, I can tell you that this card used to cost 2 mana. It used to cost, I think it cost 2 mana, and then you could only play legendary artifacts. But it did also tap for a blue mana that could only spin for legendary artifacts. And then I ended up building a draft of a deck with it that was kind of nuts, and they ended up nerfing it. So this is 4-mana artifact. You can look at the top card of your library at any time. You can play historic lands and cast historic spells from the top of your library. So in this deck, with the Crystal Skull, here are the cards you can play from the top of your library. 47 of your 60 cards, which is pretty good. Although I guess it's 46 because you're going to have a Crystal Skull in play. Now, Rona with Crystal Skull is really, really, really fun. Because what you get to do is you get to go... You use Rona like your... grinding station in like the Mystic Forge deck, where if you have a brick on top, you could just tap the Rona to loot it away. This is especially nice because a lot of your bricks are Fate Stitchers. So like if you're Rona, if you get to like entomb Fate Stitcher, and then you get to keep casting stuff from the top of your deck. That dynamic ends up usually being pretty interesting, and then also being able to Cauldron Cauldron Fate Stitcher onto Rona, especially when you have Crystal Skull going, allows you to like generate a lot of mana as you're casting these legendary spells from the top of your library. And having a powerful 4-mana card draw spell where it lets you like churn through your whole deck to dig for your combo, and potentially even able to just combo kill without anything in play because of the ability to get Lavaspur Boots off Urza Saga or just find Lavaspur Boots and cast it is something I'm really excited about. It means that you don't have to play a bunch of Spellskites in the deck, and there's kind of a big problem with having to play a bunch of Spellskites in a deck that has so many mana sources. Playing 28, or sorry, this is the baubles don't count. We're playing 24 mana sources in a deck with like a relatively low curve, and then the Fatestitchers do some work too. I would like, it's possible we should go a little bit more high on these effects. It's you know, it's just not not the easiest to figure out the split, but so far it's felt pretty good in testing. Let's get in there. The name of the mana rock. Yeah, you could play Relic of Legends with Rona. It's kind of like but like cauldroning Fatestitcher onto Rona is like Relic of Legends. It's basically the same thing. All right. Well, maybe a little bit of a flooded hand, but Gran-Gran can loot, and we also have, you know, Urza Saga. Nathor with the 36 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I know. Almost a year since the free twin stream. Probably will never do another 24-hour stream unless it's for a good cause. And Nath again with the 3 years. Thank you. You know, the last time we played Twin, it didn't go so bad. I don't think it's a particularly good meta for it, but it's also probably not particularly bad with Blink being on the downswing. If they free Golgari Grave Troll, can you do a stream? I mean, listen, if they ever unban any card in Modern, we always do a stream with it, but Golgari Grave Troll I think would be a really silly unban. I have a belief that if a card gets banned, gets unbanned, and then gets banned again, it's just not a wise one to unban a third time. All right, my opponent has decided to join us. They crack this Flooded Strand. They get an untapped Sacred Foundry. I do like that Gran-Gran attacks into all the Boros 1-mana creatures, although she might just get discharged here. No, they just have a Ragavan. Alright, I'm going to be okay trading Gran-Gran for Ragavan here. Ooh, interesting draw. Any plans to play with your antithesis pre-modern? A little bit. I think that as far as pre-modern goes, if I'm going to play it, it's going to be likely between rounds of a challenge. I think that would be the most appropriate time for me to dip my toes in there. All right, so no energy for you. Interesting that they led on the Ragavan and decided to block Gran-Gran instead, and like let me get a loot instead of just discharging the Gran-Gran. Although maybe they just drew this. They've got 5 cards in their hand after this. Can you drag the dialogue window to the right tiny bit where you press no response? Just so you can see it, or... You got I don't really see the vision here. Or what I'm missing. Wow, we topped that Crystal Skull though. That is the best draw by a lot. Anything you find especially interesting in pre-modern? Not really, I guess. It's all kind of confusing overall, I suppose. Hopefully they don't have a Static Prison, although I guess we maybe could sink a Static Prison next turn. That's exactly what I wanted. Well, I guess I don't understand, but I'm glad you're happy. Am I gonna play the Mayburn deck from the challenge again? I only got 3 matches. Yeah, I am gonna play it again. At the moment, it might be today's backup deck. It kind of depends on how much time. I might play this all day today. I might want to, if I have like a lot of time I want to fill, then I want to pivot into the updated Yogg's airship deck, which I've been happy with, and I want to stream it, but I also kind of want to dedicate a whole day to grinding that. So I would kind of prefer not to do that today. So if we have a smaller time slot, we'll play the Mayburn deck. It just kind of depends on how the morning goes. I like to just give myself a few options on what to do after we start, and then be kind of flexible. I'm liking EOE or Avatar more in terms of their addition to Modern. I think it's pretty close. I think they're two of my favorite sets. I think Avatar might be a top 5 set for me. Edge is my number 1 set. All right, I guess we're gonna Aether Spellbomb the Ragavan because Crystal Skull does tap for mana. I don't know. It's tough. I think I'd probably give it to EOE. Like EOE is and it just did so much to making Boros Energy not like the fair deck. The only fair deck you can play in the format. All right, so making a construct is probably not that important since they've got the Guide of Souls. We don't have Shadow Spear. I think I'm just gonna get maybe a little greedy and get Lavaspur Boots, but looks like we get really rewarded here. Okay, so let's go ahead and equip the Lavaspur Boots first, so that way, in response to the cast trigger, we can draw with the Rona. So go cast Mox Opal. Happy enough to keep that on top, I guess. Yeah, we'll go ahead and not tap. Keep the new Mox. Cast the Springleaf Drum. Cast the Bauble. Then let's go cast the Emry. And then let's go ahead and loot away the Fatestitcher in response, or entomb the Fatestitcher maybe. Then let's untap, and then this Emry will mill the other Emry. And then we'll play Otawara from the top, I think. We will Legend Rule the other Otawara, but I don't think that's a big issue. And then let's go ahead and loot away this Crystal Skull. So I can, I've kind of bricked. I think I'm going to go ahead and unearth Fatestitcher, untap Rona, and then try to keep going here. There's a Grandma. So I can, at this point, I can haste Grandma. Potentially, but I guess I guess, do I have a Cauldron in the yard for Emry? Don't have a Cauldron in the yard for Emry. Right now I have 2 mana available. Let's loot away the second Grandma. We find another copy of Emry. Maybe it's better to loot away the maybe I want to have another one of these in my hand. It's kind of close. I think I'm just gonna hold the untap. Okay, now we get to be +1 mana, and then there's a Cauldron. So I'm gonna go ahead and just float mana off the Springleaf Drum. I think I don't have another Fatestitcher in the yard. Let's not loot that away. Just kind of a free card to cast. We do have a Ballista in the yard. So there's another Cauldron. Are we fizzled here? Oh, sorry. I messed up. I just had the combo. I should have put Emry on the Rona. I think we're gonna be okay. I don't know why. It just took me a second to realize. Anything else I can do? I guess not. Let's see what they're drawing. Worst top deck, I guess, and I guess we know what we're drawing. That's okay. So we should have won this turn. It's good to know that we would have won this turn. And it's also kind of exciting to know we would have just won. Like we did not have a creature in play when we started this turn, you know. This is kind of like a modern version of Retraction Helix combo with better cards. I guess, yeah. Retraction Helix combo is also something that people play in modern sometimes. I sure dislike Retraction Helix. We have a win next turn. It's, we're good. They play in a Johnny. The hand is Ragavan, 2 mystery cards. Spike, do you expect to update Lucha every few months, or is that reserved for the most boring set of the decade? I might update Lutri. It's like, I in general really enjoy keeping things open. At the moment, like I think it's kind of fun to play Lutri like once at the end of a season is kind of where I'm at with it. But I don't have like a dedicated day or oh no. Well, I'm making all kind of misclicks. At least it's in a game that's gonna be very hard to lose still. Now if they just have bombardment, I thought I had one more okay to click, but I just didn't. I think we'll be okay. Like they can't kill my Rona with a bombardment. They do have the bombardment, which is the worst possible, but this has ward 1, so we still win. Yield to all. Yeah, I guess I clicked yield to all instead of no response. That has gotten me a couple times. Because like my brain is like still really hardwired to just be clicking okay, okay, okay. That being said, we win still. Assuming I clicked through it successfully still. If Rona's exile was Soul Cauldron and the +1 counter is placed on a creature that can transform, can you grant the activated ability and use it to transform the creature with the counter? I believe yes. I believe that works. Paradise Mantle could be a good Saga target. Add some additional combos. Possibly, possibly. We have the Springleaf Drum. Maybe is Paradise Mantle. I'm trying to think like why it'd be better than Springleaf Drum. Like how like it is with Rona, but like Rona, you kind of get the similar effect with Cauldron, Cauldron Fatestitcher for whatever that's worth. Okay, so sorry about the little blunders or whatever, but we are going to win the game here. So let's go. Always yield. And I'm gonna go ahead and just show them that I've got this combo here. Just gonna put a counter on it, and then once we get up to 15 mana, we'll be winning the game. Or 15 counters. We could also maybe go for profs, but I think it's, the best play here to just not show them any more of our deck. Can you make the gray screen where I guess I maybe do need to do that. Maybe that's what the other chatter was saying. This seems terrible to click through. I don't really mind it. We've been through so much worse. Sometimes my habits, because I just have been doing this so long, it's like if I'm making the UI like a little bit harder for myself, like you want this box to be bigger. I just don't know see how this box being bigger matters. Yeah, nothing will ever be worse than the dark pool. I'm gonna add a counter. I'm gonna ping you. Let me just show them. Sometimes you just gotta show them, and they'll concede. Not all the time. I guess maybe it's faster. What we can actually do is we can cast the ballista from the yard. Since we have the other ballista in the yard, we can um once we have 12 mana we can cast it. So we're actually pretty close. No, sorry, we need 24. Because we have two Rona pings at the moment. You can ping God of Souls twice and then swing. That's true. Is that faster? If you click right yield to Mox Amber, it'll stop holding priority. I don't think that that's true because it's a new object each turn. I'll try it because I'm gonna cast it and then yeah, I'm right clicking. There's not even like a box because when it's a new object, I don't think you can like even do it here. Cuts the counters in half almost. Well, the ballista line definitely cuts the counters in half, so I think I'll just go for that. That's true. Bouncing the guide is faster. How many counters do I need to win if I just bounce the guide? So right now Rona is 4 power, 2 counters. If I hit them, I have to hit. I guess I need 7 counters on the Rona. Where's a Stormkill card? You know, I just always hate to, like I need to save 2 minutes. I need to play a shitty Dazzle's Oracle or something. And when I could just play Ballista instead. Less if you flip. Ooh. I don't know if that. I guess that is true. Yeah, I don't really know either why people decide to just spend their morning sitting here. It is what it is. I guess it has been like 4 minutes on the clock. The Gran-Gran combo is faster. We also have enough mana here. Yeah, I mean they just want the clock damage, but it's like I think that your 5 minutes is a lot more valuable than the clock damage for whatever that's worth. But it's okay. They can value their time how they want to. All right, so we are down 6 minutes due to that. We were down when we started too, which is a little bit weird for me. I'm gonna bring in the Pithing Needle. I'm gonna bring in the Soul Guide Lantern. Oh, sorry, you don't bring Lantern just for Flage because you have Cauldron. I'm gonna bring in the Dismembers for Clarion Conquerors, and then I wasn't really so sure if I wanted the Shadow Spear or not against them. I'm not a big fan of Aether Spell Bomb in the matchup. I think I'll go ahead and cut it. I think we can cut Bauble number 4. We could cut potentially do something like we could cut Props 3 and Ballista 2. Although I think Ballista plus Props plus Cauldron by itself can just be really good against them. I'm not sure how much we want to lean on that game plan. I think I'm going to commit to. I don't think the Shadow Spear. It almost never wins me a game against Boros, so it definitely can be a really good tutor target though. Like a lot of times it doesn't win you the game by itself, but it buys you the time you need to like set up for a win. Can we cut Emry 4? It's really hard to cut Emry in the matchup or in any deck. Have I considered Granny in some reanimator shell? I've thought a little bit about it. It would probably be like a Cauldron Gristlebrand shell. No, you can in this deck you can never ever cut boots because it just lets you combo with summoning sick creatures. It's just too important. Although usually you can cut boots. Maybe I can just go cut baubles. Still have one. Let's try that. How was Crystal Skull? I mean, this was our first game on stream with it. It's been really good. This is sorry, not the first game with this deck. We did have another Crystal Skull combo deck with Urza and Grinding Station, where we're using Urza plus Grinding Station to just untap Grinding Station to make a bunch of mana with Urza while we cast spells from the top with Crystal Skull, and then use Grinding Station to clear spells from the top of our deck. And we also had Ballad of the Black Flag as a way to loop stuff too. So I've liked it a lot. Okay, the same goes really nuts if we draw any of our 12 legendary creatures. I think that's probably just going to be a keep for me on the draw here. Every combo relies on Agatha. Was there any consideration for Reshape or Whir? I mean, those cards are just really inefficient, and you'll draw the Cauldron. You'll build it over with Emry, cast it. You'll dig for it with Crystal Skull. I think that these really like bad tutors are just not good moves, usually. What is a historic land, artifact, legendary? Also, Saga is historic, which is relevant in this deck. All right, we've got a Guide of Souls on their Mold of 6. We cannot quite cast that, but I'm really happy to have drawn it. It's possible we wait for this on turn 3 so that we can, for sure, deploy the Crystal Skull. That being said, equipping it to the Lavaspur Boots seems really nice here, because we can cast something this turn, so I'm going to go for that. And then we do find Mox Opal, which is awesome. So now we can cast Crystal Skull next turn, even if they kill this, and we've got Ward 1. Not a bad turn 2. Yeah, Oboro is like so sick on the stack, even if it doesn't come up all that often. Emry been a top 5 creature in Modern for years. Changed my mind. I guess I'll say it's like definitely definitely not top 5. This kind of feels like to me like when someone will name their like favorite NBA player as like top 5 top 5, but it's just like the top 5 is so stacked. Even though this player is really good, they're not they're not top 5. Yeah, I think I want to leave my land drop to maybe play it off the Crystal Skull. All right, now we go Island, equip, draw a card, discard a card. There's another Cauldron, discard the Fatestitcher, and then try to go off next turn. Yeah, Coop is definitely going off. Galax for the 2 years. Thank you. Welcome back. I think Nimpart is my favorite player on the Mavericks, though. So if they kill my Emry, we just win the game. If they don't have another land to, I say if they don't have another land to kill Rona, but if they've been missing lands, so it's not the most likely. Now this was the I guess we don't just win the game because we do need to find another Moxen, but it should be pretty easy to find another Moxen. I love Yuki Kawamura. When I was in Tokyo, they had a big poster of him on the Shibuya crossing, and I was like, it's Yuki. So another brick is kind of unlucky. We can Fatestitcher, untap the Rona. Was he on the Pacers? Yuki was on the Memphis Grizzlies, and then he was a 2-way player for them in the G League, and then he had like a little contract with the Bulls, and I think he's not currently on the team, unfortunately. He's just too small. I'm worried Ride Nimpart will be the same, but it's just fun to watch the smaller players be so fast. Like they just play so different. All right, another Emry is good pickup. If we can just mill a Moxen, we have the win. Either Moxen will do here. Do they have surgical? Possibly. I guess we could try to play around that with like a Cauldron and the ability to like untap Cauldron with Fatestitcher. Can't Minamo it at the moment. I guess we could have also played around that by playing out the Cauldron earlier. So if they surgical my Cauldron, it's pretty bad, obviously. But we get to play kind of a fun game where we figure it out, where we dig for like Ballista plus Profs. Unearth Stitcher was worse than Hardcast Rona. Oh, sorry, of course, the Cauldron just untaps the Rona. Yeah, so definitely a lot worse. Opponent may just be double queuing. We'll see. Though I feel like they would be F6 like they were last game. Although they do have the bombardment in play, so not the most clear. But let's go ahead and just cast the Cauldron so they can't Surgical it now. Although we did mill a Ballista. Still no second Mox in to do the loop. There's another Rona. I would really like to find profs if possible. We have 2 left in the deck. That's a nice one if they do end up having Surgical for Ballista or something. Still a Surgical hater. I seem to find myself in situations quite often where random Surgical is backbreaking. I don't know that I've ever been a Surgical hater per se. Like, I mean, I think it's definitely a good sideboard card in some metagames and matchups. I think in general it's over sideboarded, but it's not to like some insane degree. I think that I'm definitely somewhere in between the like never boarded Surgical unless it's like Reanimator and like the board and Surgical in every matchup. Like if I was my opponent, I would board and Surgical here. There's another Cauldron. Seems like we have bricked. So I could... Let's not do a lot. Let me go ahead and needle a Johnny. I think that's better than needling Bombardment here, although it's kind of close. Bit of a bummer not to find the second Moxen and all those cards. But still a pretty good board state. What I got my nose? This is a nasal strip. I got my allergies have been acting up a lot, so I've got my nasal strips, and I got my Zyrtec, and I've got my Vapo Rub. Mountain Voice of Victory would be brutal. That's true. I don't know that we'd be dead. Be pretty close. Alright, I can ping that with Cauldron Ballista. You ever fuck with Flonase? A little bit. Or like nasal sprays in general. But I've been told it's really bad to use those a lot. So I really try to very sparingly use nasal sprays. Kind of wish there was room for Boomerang Basics. Yeah, even just like 4 Boomerang Basics to sometimes let Gran-Gran be online is cool. I recently fell in love with Aftermath Analyst. Have I tried any brews with its Splendid Reclamation Elf? Oh, that card is actually a modern staple. It is a big part of the Amulet Titan combo deck, and that is it's like when okay, so this is needled. I guess I'll go ahead and, well, I guess I don't mind if they flip. So yeah, when MH3 first came out, like I was working a lot on the Shifting Woodland Aftermath Analyst loop off stream, and then I was excited about the tech, and then it got solved in Amulet Titan pretty fast before I ever even came out with it. But I think it's pretty solved. I don't like, you know, you have some room for, like, sometimes you play the second analyst, sometimes you find a new land for the loop, but for the most part, if you want to play an Aftermath Analyst deck, you can't do better than Titan. We've had a few like cool builds with it, with like Seismic Assault, Loam plus Valakut. Like that has been pretty fun. Flonase doesn't have that issue. It's supposed to be an everyday preventative anyways. Well, maybe I'll try it. So its only home is Titan. No other potential Elves or Green Graveyard deck. Yeah, so, you know, one thing that I do recommend to all my sweet Spikelings too, and I'm happy to chat, but, you know, if I'm ever off stream too, or if you're ever just curious, you can just go type Aftermath Analysis. And so we have played a few this is Aftermath Humans. I guess they just picked up the Aftermath. So you can see we have tried it a couple times. So like this was back when the ring was legal. We were just really in on like Valakut, Analyst, Reclamation. This was pre MH3, looks like pre MH3. And this was our other. This was also pre MH3. But yeah, we have done it. So it looks like I am gonna go down to 1 after they're done bombardmenting me. We have a needle on a Johnny, remember. We're about to be ahead on clock here. My Rona does not currently have a counter on it. Yeah, I'm not, obviously not saying shut up and check the box field. I'm just, just saying if I'm ever off stream or anything, this is also an option to you. I think you missed 1 loot last turn. Where was the loot coming from? I'll say this: that was a really convoluted last turn, and a comment. Hey, I think you missed a loot. I don't know where that would have been. Boros players, oh Boros players, can you play your deck any faster? Oh Boros players, oh Boros players, please just a tiny bit faster. We all have places to be. We can't all win the game on turn 3. Oh Boros players, oh Boros players, can you play any faster? All right, let's go ahead and tap here. How are we still in this match? Well, my opponent is not really playing it, is the main thing. Yeah, Grandma killed 1 mana, killed 2 creatures, and loot. Is Hypnotic Spectre strong enough for modern? No, not even close. I think if you could, if it costs 1 mana, it'd be really good. If it costs 1 mana and you discarded a card, like you had to Dark Ritual it, it'd be probably still good. We could Cauldron on the Gran-Gran, but I think we don't need to here. Play Minamo from the top. I think I'm just gonna loot this away. We can just try to set up for like a sort of normal profs. Maybe I should have Cauldron this Fatestitcher. I think I'm gonna do this. Although, actually, you know what? I should cast profs here. Profs win looks good. Yeah, I think we're really close to winning with profs, plus the Cauldron. I've said it before, do you enjoy playing against Boros? It feels like it's a pretty decent test of viability. Is there something in a deck that makes it feel too one-sided? So I think I like playing against Boros when I'm testing a new deck. It's like, it is a very good litmus test for a new strategy. The fact that we're up a game, we're probably going to win game 2, is really fun or exciting, important to test, all this. Some days you just play against Boros like 60% of your matches, and it gets that becomes kind of unfun. And then there is just like, there are a lot of Boros players who I'm pretty sure they're just at work, or whatever, and they're just at work and they take forever to play their matches. This is just, unfortunately, a lot of Boros opponents. And it is what it is. All right, I think this is lethal. Crazy to just have not found another Mox. I guess we put on the Emry. If they kill in response, we can just Cauldron. Wait, I only drew 6 cards this turn? I feel like I drew so many more. Maybe we messed up here. Maybe my impatience got the best of me. So this is 5 plus 9 is 14. I can make it can make it 16 plus 5 counters. Yeah, sorry, it's just not enough. Damn. Really thought I had drawn more cards there. Dead to Flage. Damn. Ah, fuck. Well, sorry about that. So we do have the Spellskite ability up. The problem is we don't have any blue mana, and we are dead to Flage because of the bombardment. Depends if you Rona or another MDC Cauldron try to flip a non-MDFC card. Is it just yeah? If a card doesn't have a backside, then you can't flip it. Just nothing happens. No, so we're not dead to Flage because of 3 life because we have a Spellskite under Cauldron. So if they didn't have bombardment, we could pay 2 life instead of taking 3. But the bombardment gives that 1 extra damage. All right, let's mulligan the 7 on the draw. Opponent's on the mull to 6 as well. This is a turn 2 Saga activation. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, sorry, it's not. This is not a Mox Opal. Probably still keeping this on 6 on the draw. Garden's consideration for Mox and Dupe doesn't help with the combo. You need 2 to replay from the yard. All right, let's still play Saga turn 1. Oh, so I think did I not end up playing the Oboro? We're supposed to have an Oboro in the deck. I think I actually forgot to drag it in there. Let me grab that for the next time for the next league. Running into a Tron deck is kind of tough. Or a Karn deck is kind of tough, on the draw especially. I believe it's in there. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me double check. Yeah, no, we have Minamo and Otawara. I forgot to drag the Oboro in. All right, let's go to game 2, I think. So I built that build of the deck. It was pretty weak to Harbinger. So let's bring in the Harbingers and let's go down. We cut the Spellskite, cut the Aether Spellbomb. I think we can cut 2nd Ballista. I think we can cut 3rd Profs. And then we need to make 1 more cut. Probably a Bauble. Oboro also good with the looters. Oh, sorry, I didn't drag the Harbingers in? Sorry. 1 Profs. I guess it's really tough to mill the 2nd. Sorry about that. Do you like Karn being a modern safety valve for artifact decks, or do you think it's annoying to play against? Both, I guess. I like when safety valves are 4 mana. It's hard to be too annoyed by it. All right, on the play. Mulligan. Gonna go to 5, I guess. Hand would be good enough, I think, if we had a 2nd land. Win Lady Octopus deck. We played some Lady Octopus when it came out. She was not so good. All right, keeping this. So let's put back a Mox Opal. And maybe just a 2nd Mox Opal. I think I want to be able to loot away the Fatestitcher. We can maybe double Gran-Gran this turn because we get to go. We can untap it with the Minamo. Although I think instead I'll just play Profs. Make a big grandma. All right, not a bad mold to 5. We also have the infinite Urza sagas. So this is kind of like the best possible draw. Maybe Lady Octopus is good in this deck, though. I have to think about it a little bit more. Could have cast the consign for some psychic damage. Don't think we need to get too fancy here. You Saga rolls busted sometimes. I mean, it doesn't come up very often. I'm 99% sure they have Dismember. Well, I did build the deck. They said they're on the Planetarium Tron. I don't remember. I don't think I played any Dismembers. I'm looking at the list now. Yeah, there are no Dismembers. I just need to feed myself some free wins here. The new Saga roll. So, when you have a Harbinger or a Magus in play, your Urza Sagas don't die, and you can still make Construct with them if they've got the second counter. Should you have used Mox Amber instead of Springleaf so you could attack? Maybe. Yeah, seems correct. We get one less. We get one less props counter. Battle with the 69 months. Think you'll come back. Not sure. What? It's probably better to get the damage in. Pretty marginal. On the draw, do I want Pithing Needle for Karn? Karn is really tough to beat, to put it lightly. I think it's okay. It's also good against Planetarium. Not if you want to hold Consign. We could have held Consign by making a construct with the Amber and then leaving the construct to tap the drum. We will keep this. Hand goes really crazy if we draw Mox Amber or Bishop's Bauble, although we sided out some baubles. Surge Gingiver's Karn. I've never really found that to be like an effective strategy. Let's needle the map. If the magic gods are going to give us a gift, we don't want to spit in their faces by casting drum here. Don't mill over anything helpful with the Emry, although we got some more loots maybe. I guess the Rona could be valuable with the Cauldron. They do have a Sylvan Scrying to find Tron, however. We don't have a Harbinger or a Consign yet. We do have a Cauldron. We have Cauldron Fatestitcher. So I can go Cauldron Fatestitcher's ability onto Gran-Gran. Untap the Cauldron with Gran-Gran. Cauldron something else onto Emry. Do the loop. So I think we win. So what we're eventually going to do is we're going to find a profs, and then we're going to get enough counters to win with the Ballista. So let's go always yield, always yes. Always yes, always yield. Much easier to click through than the Rona stuff. Although still kind of a pain in the ass. I'm pretty sure I clicked always yield. We'll always yield again. Very fun combo. I guess I could also just attack with the props. All right, so we're 2-0. Second round. Much faster than the the first one, even though that was a 2-game hour-long round one. Did you discover the Gran-Gran Fatestitcher combo? Yeah, yeah. On like Monday or Tuesday night. Despite having the same combo, that like there's very little overlap between the two decks and the cards. It's like they play Fatestitcher, they play 1 or 2 Ballistas, they play Cauldron, they play Gran-Gran, but I think that's it. I've been cutting a Planetarium to bring in a couple different pieces of sub games. You can like mostly I only bring in card and targets if I feel like I have already another really good card and target, and I'm happy to draw the other one. But yeah, I think that's fine. You put up the hand hider, I guess. Just usually do when opponent takes as long to show up. Opponent is on a mulligan to 6. We get to play a turn 1 Emry. Maybe a turn 2 Crystal Skull if we find another Moxen. We do find another Moxen. Turn 2 Crystal Skull would be pretty cool. Maybe my opponent will not kill my Emry. Guide of Souls! Guide of Souls! Let's go. So we beat Boros in round 1. Let's see if the Boros matchup is just really good. Obviously, that would be a big selling point for the deck. Remember, Crystal Skull does tap for a mana. No, opponent's not an unknown stream sniper. I just when I have an opponent who takes like 30 seconds to show up, I just put the hand hider up for the mulligans. I think you just might as well, not doing anything else. All right, dead Emry, that's okay. Especially because we already have the boots. Next turn they're drawing an Arena of Glory, so they're going to have Arena Flage, 3 mystery cards. Yeah, Crystal Skull is really good. I think this is only our second Crystal Skull deck. The other one was pretty cool too. All right, so cast Rona from the top. Then equip Boots. Cast Emry. Then I guess we're gonna. I don't really want to draw that. We do have a land we could hit for turn. Maybe it was okay to draw. Yeah, I guess it was just fine. Okay, Wood Wave Fatestitcher. There's a Profs. Haven't drawn many cards so far. All right, so not comboing this turn. Let's go ahead and get counters on Emry since Rona has Ward and I have another Emry in hand. 5 counters. Yeah, Profs is historic too. yeah, that was really. I was really excited when I realized Profs was historic yesterday, and it like untaps Rona too. It's like it turns like the downside into a pretty big upside in this deck. All right, Flage kills neither of my creatures here. We know their hand is Flage, and then 2 mystery cards. All right, 3 mana Helix me. Yeah, and then yeah, we're gonna kill them. Probably. We do have a Cauldron in the yard, and we don't have the extra Moxen. It's possible we're not playing enough Moxen. Okay, although here we go. So we'll just go ahead and. Oh, I don't have. Sorry, I don't have the. I can just Gran-Gran combo actually. Let's just Gran-Gran combo. I think I'll just make another mana real quick. All right, always yield. Always yes. Always yield. Yeah, blue Yawgmoth. Was that not? I guess I didn't always yes. Always yes. Always yield. So we're just digging for Ballista, and then the Profs will give me Enough counters to win with the Ballista. What do you expect this deck's bad matchups to be? I think Prowess will probably be a bad one. Not sure how like the Harbingers and the side affect the Titan matchup, but typically Titan's really good against artifact-based combo decks. I think Prowess is probably the deck I'm the most scared of. It's kind of funny when you build decks like this. Sometimes they're like just a lot better against Boros, and sometimes they're better against Prowess. Oh, there's a Ballista. So I'm just gonna go ahead and Cauldron the Ballista so they can see what's up here. Although I guess I haven't really kept good track of how many cards we've drawn. I only have 15 cards in my deck. That's probably enough with the hasty supplier, right? I feel like it's got to be more than enough. I said that last time though, and I was wrong. So you could have drawn 90. Well, I don't have 90 cards in the deck. I'll say I think we're gonna get there. We can bounce the token and attack. Yeah, I know. I guess I was thinking I was just gonna ping it, but let's attack with a big grandma. I think this has got to be more than enough. I'm gonna go back to school if this is not enough. Yeah. Okay, I don't have to go back to school. Let's go. All right, so let's keep figuring out the Boros sideboard plan. I think I don't know if I liked the Shadow Spear last time or not. I brought in these 4 cards, and then I ended up going down an Aether Spell Bomb and 3 Baubles was the plan last time. I think maybe I want to go down an Opal and 2 Baubles instead. Although I was really hurting to draw an Opal. Yeah, I think it's okay to just go down to 1 Bauble. Like, you don't need to keep the Baubles in the deck so much for Emry because you have so many good hits off the Emry. Yeah, Grandma pulled out the sliver and slapped the shit out of them. It is very funny to be like, I'm winning a game with a 2020 Gran-Gran that is also a Walking Ballista and is also a Fatestitcher. Gran-Gran's Adventures. How's this deck feeling compared to the Izzet list from yesterday? It's kind of hard to compare them. Like this one is like kind of value combo where like you're trying to like your plan B is I'm gonna make some construct tokens. I'm gonna draw a lot of cards with a crystal skull that I cast on turn 2 or turn 3. It's like that's your plan B compared to the VV deck, which your plan B is I'm gonna attack with a big Marauding Mako and for fear of missing out. And so it's kind of, and this deck is like weaker against artifact hate, but also like so like that's a downside. So it's just kind of tough to compare. Not that we can't figure it out, but not sure. Okay, on the draw against Onslaught Pride, Gran-Gran bigger. I'm telling my Avatar fan friends who don't play Magic that Gran-Gran is slapping the shit out of people who want to win a Modern. Let's go. What's Oboro for? So it's a legendary land, so you can play it off the top with Crystal Skull. Do I think I'll just play Profs and then attack. I can also play Ballista and then attack. I guess what I like about Ballista attack is if I draw another 0-mana artifact that's not Mox Opal, they might just not block, and then I could play the Emry. So I'm going to try not to use the Ballista, although, I mean, they're going to attack, and then I guess I will have to use it, but just would be nice with the Profs, you know. All right, not the end of the world here. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and kill this. Take 3 down to 17. They only have 3 cards in their hand. Did they mulligan? No, they kept 7? Let's go, dude. Another great draw. I guess I should play the props first. I don't know if there's any card I would draw that would change, would have me not play Emry, but I guess let's find out. Yeah, I can't play Rona because the Mox Opal is not online. Was it ever worth letting them trigger Pride to keep Ballista? It possibly was, with the props in play. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I guess thinking about it a little bit more, I guess it just did. It just did make more sense to keep it in play. All right, they've got another Ocelot Pride. They've got 1 card in their hand, and then they can surveil 2 more cards in the yard for Flage. I'm at 14. We draw a Fatestitcher for turn. Seems like my hand is pretty forced here. Just gonna play Rona, and then... Oh, you know what? This was a little bit of a misstep. I think because I could have gone Construct. No, there was no way for me to go. I always had to play the Sync untapped. Because either way, I'm turning on 1 Mox, but I can't turn on both to be able to play the Sync. To be able to play the Sync tapped here. Although maybe I want to be holding the Rona so it doesn't die to Flage. I'm probably okay if it dies to Flage. Opponent is surveilling. Thinking about it. They keep a card on top. Seems like they were really in the tank on, do I want 1 more card in the yard for Flage? Versus keeping, obviously, whatever's here. They're going to combat really fast. It's interesting where I just have 2 good blocks. So, like, do they have 2 removal spells? If they had removal spells, they would have done it pre-combat. Do they have Wrath? Maybe they have Wrath Disguise. Wrath would make a lot of sense here. Yeah. So gonna be hard to beat the Flage now. Smooch with the 55. Gran-Gran is a modern. Is there a web slinging combo? I guess I haven't thought about web slinging with Gran-Gran. That would be pretty funny. I didn't draw the Cauldron for the Wrath. I do think Crystal Skull is a pretty good tool against Wrath if you can get that out underneath too. Did I overcommit? I don't think I overcommitted there. Maybe a little bit. Like, maybe I didn't need to play the Rona. Maybe I could have held up Sync. Seems like the Wrath was probably what they were thinking so long on there. Just tap the Flage down forever. It was just tough because the Fatestitcher will always kill the Flage. Like, if you play it there, it just dies to Flage. If you play it the next turn, it dies to Flage. Yeah, that wasn't a line. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it made a lot of sense to try to hold up the Sync. I guess Wrath is a good reason not to play Affinity-ish decks right now. Yeah. Maybe forever. Let's go to Mulligan to 7. I think it's just a little too weak. And unfortunately, we have a 0 lander. Alright. Pretty bad mulligans. Let me put back... Maybe Opal Shadow Spear. I kind of like keeping the Fatestitcher so I have something to dilute away. Fatestitcher is also just kind of an important piece of the combo. I don't think the Shadow Spear is particularly good. Need a Once Upon a Galaxy Captain, Candy, Pandy, or Loki. I think both are really good. I do think Candy and Spells are like the best 2 things you can do. For me, I don't try super hard, I guess, and I just try to be a bit more vibe-based. Was Paradise Mantle consideration? Yeah, we've been talking a little bit about Paradise Mantle, but I don't exactly know... I don't exactly know why we'd play it. Like, is there like a loop I'm misunderstanding? I feel like Springleaf Drum is mostly better. Like, Paradise Mantle on Rona is maybe that is enough of a reason. I'm having kind of a hard time with it. So if you have like a really strong opinion on it, I'd love to hear. We need this Rona to live so bad for our mold 5 to get out of this, especially with like every card in our hand is like just so insane with Rona. It's obviously not the most likely to live, but mold 5s aren't the best against Boros. They don't have a discharge. Maybe they have a Flage. Hopefully they just got some creatures, although they didn't play a second 1-mana creature last turn. They graveyarded a Johnny. Would have loved to see them cast that this turn. Yeah, it does help with Paradise. It does help with turn 1 Emry. I don't know what we would cut for Paradise Mantle, but it's probably worth playing. Maybe I don't know if you would cut the drum. You would maybe play one of each. Yeah, it helps with Mox Opal. Although, like, you're probably cutting another. Maybe you cut the Aether Spellbomb, sideboard the Aether Spellbomb. Oh my gosh, it happened. I cannot believe they just passed you. It's awesome. So I think they have Thraben Charm. Oh yeah, 61 card special, of course. Yeah, maybe we could have played around Mana Tithe. It's definitely possible they have it. Right now, I think they're thinking about Thraben Charming my props. So, seems like if I play the Saga, there's a good chance it gets Thraben Charmed. They must have Thraben Charm in their hand, right? Like, there's no way they're going to play the most embarrassing Galvanic Discharge of all time right now. I think I'll discard the Emry. Emry in the yard is good to Cauldron Emry's ability onto Rona. Now, I want to play the Gran-Gran here again because we're suspicious of the Thraben Charm. But I'm gonna go to combat so I can have 2 blockers for the Ragavan potentially. Oh, they have Wear Tear, sure. So I'm glad we didn't play the Saga. Doesn't seem to be much reason to tap the Rona right now, but that was an awesome turn on our Mold of 5. They might have Wrath Disguise in their hand too. They do find their 3rd land. They missed their land last turn. They Flage my Rona, I presume. Am I gonna block? I think I'll block. We just have Crystal Skull, so my opponent also like they're missing land drops, so giving them the extra mana for Arena Flage obviously seems not so good. They have Surgical. I don't know. They're acting like they have Surgical. Surgical is a card they would board in here. This would be an awesome game to win after the Mold of 5. Anything this turn? Remember, Crystal Skull does tap for a blue. Make it Surgical. They might Surgical Gran-Gran here. Instead, they Surgical Fatestitcher. Okay. Pretty bold not to hold up Sync for Flage. I don't think so, because I mean I can take 12 and then Sync the Flage next turn. They should have Surgical Gran-Gran. Also, they've been missing land drops, so they have to top deck a land. Then they top deck the land, but now we're only taking 9. Now Gran-Gran is of course a lot worse with Fatestitcher being Surgical. Cannot combo with it anymore. Can still combo with Rona if we want. Certainly also kind of down to just try to play maybe a grindier game with the Urza Sagas. Let's go ahead and cast this. Then I think we equip and attack. And I have been Mana Tithe, I think, one too many times to not just bounce this main phase. They do need to draw land to kill the Gran-Gran with the Flage anyways. Kind of feeling bad about not boarding in the Soul Guide Lantern. Like, usually my attitude is I have 4 Cauldron. That's going to be able enough graveyard hate for the Flage. But, you know, maybe you just, like, want to tutor hate off Saga enough. You called that. If we ever play, I'll be sure to set random pauses so you'll miss my actual tiles. I do think I am pretty vulnerable to that. Okay, so they're going to Wrath to kill 1, 2, 3, 4 permanents. But Wrath when you have Crystal Skull in play is not so bad. Obviously not so good either. 1 permanent back. 2 permanents back. This doesn't quite count as another permanent back, but Rona does. No Lavaspur Boots, maybe a little tough. And then let's go and get the counters on Rona. So we can combo next turn, right? Yeah, we have the Emry in the yard, we have the Mox in, so we have a combo next turn. Rona survives the Flage that we know is in our opponent's hand. We balance it there with the Sink. They have 4 other cards, and 3 of them are for sure spells, since they missed a land drop earlier. Could have drawn a land for turn. Spellskite to protect the combo is really nice. They could have a second Wrath Disguise. Okay, they don't. Yeah, Crystal Skull is a pretty good card. Yeah, Mold of 5, by the way. Against Ragavan on turn 1, Surgical, Wear Tear, Flage Hasted. A lot of stuff. Might still lose, but probably not at this point. They need to have another Surgical. That works too. So I can pay a bunch of life to I can pay a bunch of life to untap the Rona. Or to flip the Rona. I think I need to save the mana so I can Spellskite both Flage triggers for mana. And then just be able to chump the Spellskite the Flage with, oh sorry, I guess if I okay, I don't need to Spellskite the second. I can Spellskite. Let's say they do 3 damage on Rona, then I Spellskite the second, then I chump block, or I take 3 down to 8, then I take 3 more. Okay. What happens to the card that untaps itself? I thought that was the advantage of mono blue. I thought so too, but it just seems like, to me, Fatestitcher is still better. But then the advantages to mono blue are like Crystal Skull, Urza, Saga, Moxen, like all Emry, all these cards seem like also big advantages. Transforming her seems pretty good. Yep, it may be. If I transform her, I'm committing to taking like 6 damage. I don't know with the Phyrexian stuff. I don't know. I think this is a fine line to take. Obviously, this is tough. They have 1 card left in their hand. It's a land for Flage. Dang, I mean, having a land Thraben Charm is tough. Last 2 cards, I guess. Needle in against Boros' choice. You absolutely should be bringing it in against them. You are really soft to Bombardment. You're really soft to a Johnny Flip, and we won a match today on stream largely because of Pithing Needle. Oh, he's saying it's in their deck. I see. I guess I could draw. No, sorry. I don't know why I was thinking I could channel Otawara from the top. They also had that Orm's chant too. That's very tough. Oh wait, they target me? I'm not dead if they target me. I was dead if they targeted the Rona twice. I don't think I can win though. Oh no, sorry. I'm still exactly dead. Still exactly dead. Is the same damage? Oh, you're right. It's the same. So, you know, if I had tapped the Rona, I would have drawn Minamo. Then I would have been able to untap the Rona, although that wouldn't have mattered a lot. I could have played it from the top. My opponent Orm's chanted there. We would have infinite comboed with the Cauldron if they didn't have the Orm's chant. And they just seasoned Pyromancer too. Tough. Was my reason for not flipping the Rona. And then again, we have Spellskite in play. My opponent only has a couple cards in hand. I think they have 1 card in their hand and they were drawing a second. And so like they really did have to have like land Thraben Charm. Like land Discharge wouldn't have even done it. Or I guess Discharge Escape Flage wouldn't have done it. Ooh, interesting. And so yeah, that was why I took the line. Flipping Rona would not have saved us there. Considering Boros was in the draw and they used every card on your modifier, pretty impressive. Yeah, I think it was a good look. We also beat Boros earlier. Not too upset about that loss. Ooh, we can Cauldron their Ballista. Nice. Or the Yogg. They did leave the Ballista in the yard for me. Yeah, it should be okay to discard this. It's kind of, in a weird way, this like Cauldron mirrors are like old school Jitte mirrors, where your 2-drop legendary 2-mana artifact cancels out theirs. Although the gameplay is actually maybe a little bit more complicated. Oh, does anybody know? Did they fix the Dryad Arbor bug? I can also Cauldron, like I can give Gran-Gran Dryad Arbor's ability, and then I can cast the Crystal Skull. But this is only if they fix the bug. Let's just see if they did. The bug might actually have only been on tokens too. I lost a I was 2-0 in a last chance qualifier for the showcase, and then it didn't. I couldn't use my Cauldron on the Arbor, unfortunately. Yeah, I guess we might as well just clear our top card. Nice one to grab. And then why don't we... Yeah, I think I'd rather leave the counter on the Gran-Gran if I can. What do you think is a good artifact count for Opal? I've been trying to brew something, but I've been out of Modern for a bit. Well, it's just, it's tough because I can't give you an exact formula. Because like you wouldn't count something like Kappa Cannoneer for your artifact count, or like really expensive cards for your artifact count in general. And and then Tomio counts for your artifact count. Urza Saga is kind of weird because like it's a land, but it also like helps your artifact count a lot because it's by itself Metalcraft. So I don't have an exact formula for you. I wish I did. But as usual, when it comes to Modern, the answer is it kind of depends. So I guess let's go Cauldron Rona onto Gran-Gran. Untap the Cauldron. Ping Young Wolf. In response, they deal 1 damage to me, which saves me a counter, thankfully. Then we Cauldron their Young Wolf. And they concede. Okay, so going to game 2 against Yogg. I think we've won all our game 1 so far. No, we lost the game 1 to Tron. So I don't have Grafdigger's Cage in the sideboard for Neoform and Yawgmoth because Grafdigger's Cage stops my Crystal Skull from letting me cast cards. But I did decide to play a Stone of Erech today. Yogg has just been really popular again, which I've liked. I think it's awesome that like Yogg Affinity Prowess have become like Yogg Affinity Prowess Blink have become tier Modern decks again. Like all of these things that I've loved. I've really loved this dynamic coming to Modern compared to compared to the before times. I guess I'm gonna go down to Ballista. I really don't want to give this to them off the Cauldron. I think I can probably cut the Spellskite in this matchup. I do want to keep in the Aether Spellbomb. I think we could maybe go down to Profs, although it's... My heart is telling me to keep this in for some just like more scrappy wins against some hate cards. This isn't going to work, says Crazy Man with a Snake. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Fair enough, I play a lot of CEDH, so we say 15 is a good number. Wasn't sure if it's just slapping 4 Opal, Amber, Bauble, Saga, Tomio would be cool enough. Yeah, if 4 Opal, Amber, Bauble, Saga, Tomio is enough for Opal to be online. Although you need Amber, you need more legendary creatures for Amber, so you need like Gran-Gran or Emry. Like you need usually minimum 8 1-mana blue creatures to be playing a lot of Ambers, but the more the merrier. Should we keep this? Cauldron is like insane against them. I think just like this, the hand is too slow. But Cauldron is insane against them. Keep. I guess I put back the Ballista. It's kind of a liability against them, and I think I'd rather have the Fatestitcher to loot away. We're gonna turn one halfling. I'm gonna crack my Bauble main phase to play around Bowmaster a little bit. Our answer to Bowmaster is our Ballista stuff, by the way. Okay, they rumble and they mill over a Surgical, Dryad Arbor, Besage and Dredger's Insight. They choose Besage. They play Besage. They play Badgermole Cub, targeting the Besage. Let me know if it came back immediately. Still kind of shopping for new audio interfaces, assuming that this has been the issue. Is Arbor Cauldron bugged? It was bugged in a last chance qualifier I played kind of recently, if you can hear this. It might be bugged where it doesn't work if you put it on a token. That might have been the bug. It worked today. It did come back immediately. Okay, so it is the interface that's the issue. Good to know. They mill a Yawgmoth, so they're going to want to leave that in the graveyard so they can Cauldron it. We know their hand is going to be Cauldron. They can have a second land by just picking up a swamp. They do play the swamp. But they Fatal Push instead of Cauldroning the Yawg. So let me play Cauldron. I don't actually. I can respond to their casting of Cauldron by tapping mine, so I don't need to target right now. Their hand is Cauldron Mystery card. I might be able to like Fatestitcher tap down their Cauldron if I need to combo. We'll see. Although their last card's Ballista and we lose to Ballista Spymaster's Vault here. Also, they have infinite life off Dredger's Insight. And we go to game 3. On the play for game 3. Maybe I'm wrong for being scared of their Cauldrons. Let's play the extra Ballista. Yeah, it is a focus right. I'm not sure if that's the... I don't know what 2i2 is, if that's the model. What is Ballista Spymaster? So in that spot, my opponent, they Cauldron Ballista onto their Young Wolf. They remove the counter from the Young Wolf to ping their own Young Wolf. This makes it undie with a +1 counter in play. They remove that counter to ping the Young Wolf again infinite times. That gives them infinite death triggers, which allows them to connive for their entire deck with Spymaster's Vault, which will let them ping me with Ballista. All right, let's keep this on the play. They might have boarded in Thoughtseize against me, so we'll lead on the sink just so we don't get our second land took here. I think we're supposed to lead on Rona to potentially be able to combo off next turn, even if it's not the most... Actually, we do get to go discard, loot away Emry, play Cauldron, but we need to find a couple Mox in. I want to try the Paradise Mantle next game. Or next league. Opponent's doing some earthbending. 5 cards in their hand right now. Draw another Crystal Skull. So let's go draw. Discard the 3rd Crystal Skull, I think. Okay, really unfortunate I can't deploy that this turn. I think we're just holding up the Cauldron activation, hoping for the best here. Plug the USB direct into the computer. Sometimes hubs gets burned out. Almost definitely a power interruption. It is plugged directly into the computer. Maybe I could try a different port. Van with a 16 month or 16 raid. Thank you so much. Welcome everybody. My opponent's got 5 cards in their hand here. Let me go ahead and rent the Paradise Mantle. I already got the Oboro. I think I want to try Paradise Mantle over Aether Spellbomb. Would have been like noticeably a lot better this game if it was just 1-1 here. So they're gonna green sun for 2. I mean, if this is Collector Roof, we'll just try to dig for Dismember. I don't think we're supposed to do anything in response, or can do anything in response, really. Instead, they have a Canker Bloom to be able to destroy my Cauldron. Let's see if they're maybe interested in destroying the Urza Saga instead. Probably won't be, but we might as well give them the option, right? You had one of those, huh? Very odd. Guess they just drew it. What did they pitch? They pitched a Dryad Arbor. I think I'll go ahead and loot in response. Okay, so let's go. Well, I guess I don't want to. I need to play the Emry to get the Cauldron back, actually. So if I play Stone, I can't tap the Saga for mana because they're responding to the trigger. If I play Stone and then I play Opal, I do have Metalcraft. I guess I discard Gran-Gran. And then I Cauldron Gran-Gran onto Rona. And then I let this resolve. Then this trigger does nothing. Then I play Stone. I untap the Rona. We might as well loot, although I don't think it's super likely I don't want any of these cards. You might like find Fatestitcher. You might find another Cauldron too. I haven't played my land this turn, but I don't think that is. Oh, I have. I played the Saga. Still, don't think I would have kept it. Yeah, I guess I would have kept it. I would maybe keep a Cauldron, although I do have the Emry, so maybe not. And I do mill a Fatestitcher, I mill a Ballista also. This could be maybe dangerous if they have their own Cauldron. They probably are going to Canker Blue my Stone end of turn. Let's just pass, I think. They pitched Dryad Arbor, so they're not going to be fetching Dryad Arbor for the extra mana off of the Badgermole Cub. And check for no power saving settings on your computer reinstall drivers. Okay, I'll do this after stream. Thank you, Boom. All right, so they kill the Stone. Exiles the Canker Bloom notably, so no, they're not going to be able to Cauldron that, and I guess neither will I. They have 3 cards in their hand. Don't really have a lot of information on what they could be, I guess. I don't think I'm supposed to have bounced the Badgermole Cub, although maybe I was supposed to bounce the Forest. I could see bouncing the Forest having been good. I was kind of thinking I wanted to save it for bouncing Yogg in response to the Young Wolf. Let me know what you would have done there. Yeah, I would have kept them just off Yogg. So they tapped both of their black sources before playing this Badgermole. So this would give them possibly 6 green mana. If I bounce here, instead they have 5 green mana. Doesn't seem like there's a big difference there. Huh. Okay, so the difference is Ballista X equals 3, sure. So they can kill Emry. Alright, I think I need to cycle the Spell Bomb. Then we get a loot. So this might just let my Rona have enough power and toughness that I can survive a Ballista levels. This is 6. They can level Ballista twice. So right now it's enough. Right now it's enough. I feel I have a pretty free 1 extra loot here because I can just untap the Rona with the Fatestitcher. Finding Dismember would be pretty good. Okay. Well, yeah, let's just go and let these counters go on. So I think having a blocker is pretty important here too, of course. Would have been a lot better to have bounced the forest with the Aether Spell Bomb. So they're going to combat. I don't think they... Do they have a good Alpha Strike? Maybe they do. No, they don't. Guess we don't. Can't really afford to keep that. It's kind of an interesting one, though. So we take this up. Draw a card off the Rona, the Crystal Skull, and taps it. That's the fourth and last Crystal Skull, which I guess means top of my library will be a little bit easier to sift through, maybe. Alright, so we'll go hold priority, cast Mox Amber, so we'll have 3 mana available after this. Definitely fine, just seeing another 0 card, 0 mana, Lotus Petal. I guess Lotus Petal is always 0 mana. Okay, I like seeing that as well. Naming Walking Ballista is okay, even though that's part of our win condition. We can just try to Cauldron Walking Ballista. Not the best time for my mouse to lose power, but adds to the drama. Alpha Strike is a Mecha Warrior term. I don't know what Mecha Warrior is. Sounds sick. It has at least been a Magic term as long as I've been playing. Not sure where it comes from. All right, so I don't think I can afford to risk having a tapped Rona here, so I think I unfortunately need to just use 2 mana. Although, I guess, sorry, I'm not risking it because I have the other Fatestitcher, so I can try to keep going without going minus 2 mana. Okay. I think I discard Crystal Skull. It's kind of close because Crystal Skull is pretty fragile. Although they already have played a Besage, right? And then now I have another creature to profs onto, so it's a lot safer to just draw here. I really want to find a Cauldron to like win the game with, obviously. Seems like we're not going to. Does my Fatestitcher do anything for me here? It untaps the Rona again, I guess. We could still win if we find another Moxen into a Cauldron, which I think is probably just worth digging for. Because like they have a lot of good draws. We do find an Emry. Okay. So let me go ahead and decide to put the counters on the Rona again. This way, maybe I could just transform Rona and like attack with a big trampler. And then we want to leave this back to block this turn, I think. So they have another Young Wolf, and they have a Delighted Halfling, so not a lot, thankfully. Probably winning this one, or like just definitely winning this one. Although it may take a little bit. I guess I get Lavaspur Boots, shouldn't matter a lot. So, I guess I don't have the Fatestitcher at the moment. Okay, card drawn count 1. There's the Cauldron, although this actually makes things, I guess it's the same as just Emrying the Cauldron, never mind. Try to think what the least convoluted win is. So I could respect everybody's time here a little bit. I'm not sure what it is, though. Oh, I should have floated mana. I think I just kind of have to... Because maybe I made a mistake by getting rid of so many Fatestitchers. Fatestitcher would have made things a good bit easier. Because I don't have a Minamo or a Fatestitcher for me to have... I guess I could just cast a second Cauldron. Just Cauldron, Ballista, and spells, and then Rona them. Well, that's definitely a way to do it. I just don't know that it's the most efficient. I do think I'm going to Cauldron the Ballista. I might even just be good to, like... I might even just be good to flip the Rona and, like, attack, and... Maybe it's not exactly lethal, but I can kill all their creatures if it's not, and this way we can not waste everybody's time. I don't know. Definitely interested if y'all see a better line, because, you know, we might end up in similar situations, but seems okay at the very least. Can Rona shoot herself with Ballista so we can cast our hand? I don't know. I don't think that. I think this only triggers on if opponent stuff. If a source deals damage to Rona, that source's controller exiles a card. Oh, you can. Okay. Yeah, not that. Yeah, not that it really matters here, but it does seem to work. Well, let's attack. This is 18 power trample plus 12 ballista. Can't you pay back with Opal? I can. I can also pay 2 life. Doesn't matter. This is not a situation where I'm trying to maximize my plays. I'm trying to maximize your time. All right, now I just have enough counters I can win the game on their upkeep. Yeah, I feel like we had some conversation about trying to flip Rona and like ping it to cast Emrakul. All right, GG. So we are 3-1. We lost a very unfortunate game 3 to Boros, where they just had like 3 like perfect cards at the end on our mold of 5. So I think that's a pretty glowing review so far. Let's get a 4-1 prediction going. What's my favorite card from Avatar? I think it's still Airship. We haven't done any airshipping this week. Maybe next week. All right, we do have a sync to play turn 1 Grandma. Am I going to have a modified stream schedule next week? I'm probably only taking Christmas Day off. I might also take Christmas Eve off. Kind of depends. All right, crack the bauble on our opponent's turn so we have a bigger props. We played against Tron also this league. We lost game 1 really hard, and then we got a lot of sideboard cards. There's a second Tron piece. Oh, it's Blue Tron. Interesting. So maybe Harbinger is not good against Blue Tron. Probably isn't. So sometimes they play like 2 mana counter unless you pay 1. So let's go ahead and play around that with playing the Amber first. Yeah, I've been liking Cursed Totem as a sideboard card. All right, resolves. Go into combat. 2 counters on our Grandma. I think we'll discard Grandma number 2 and hit them for 3. Do you mean Gerard Disruption? No, I mean Condescend. It's like it's just a card that Mono Blue Tron plays, and I don't think it's particularly good, but boy, do they seem to play it. I think if I cast Crystal Skull, there's a good chance we get Condescended. Does it make sense maybe to just hold up mana? Like we have Otawara and we have Sync, and we have the ability to make some big constructs. I think we'll do that. I think it seems likely they've got some counter magic, so just playing into it's probably silly when we have other stuff we can do. Now, do I want to play Emry? If I play Emry, I could go main phase, make a Saga token, and then cast Emry. That kind of plays into counter magic, but I would still get the Saga token. And then I'd have Emry in the yard for cauldroning. I think I'm gonna do it. Why do they play Snow Island? To be quirky, I guess. There's not really any reason. Yeah, there it is. So kind of played into it, but not as hard as just the Crystal Skull. I think it was okay. Also, like getting the Emry in the yard is fine, and getting the Condescendent out of their hand might be good too. They do have Natty Tron on turn 4 here. What's their payoff? Is it an Ugin? Is it Portent? It is Ugin. We might be able to kill Ugin with like Lavaspur Boots in the construct. Ugin into Karn. Yeah, Condescend into Ugin into Karn on the play is is going to be tough to beat. I guess let's go to game 2. Pretty annoying. Isn't actually back as a break dice. I mean, yeah, listen, I don't try to reason with Mono Blue-Tron players. They can do whatever the hell they want. Alright, so cut the Aether Spell Bomb, cut the Spellskite, cut the second Ballista, cut the third Props, cut the first Bauble. I want to play, I think, 1 or 2 Harbingers, not 3. Let's do 2 on the play, 1 on the draw, probably. Maybe with Blue-Tron that makes less sense. I don't know. Let's do this. Let's play 2. I think we can keep this just because it's very likely our grandma lives, and just having grandma looting every turn, looting away Fatestitcher for value, holding up Consign seems pretty good. If they have Dismember, we're in bad shape, but they only have probably 2. Nice. Do miss our second land. Getting kind of close to comboing, though. They've got an island on the top of their deck. We don't draw our second land yet. They play island instead of playing second Tron piece. And now we draw second land. So if my opponent didn't have blue mana up, I would probably be going Cauldron, Fatestitcher, Gran-Gran, hold up, Consign. They're obviously repping some interaction, so let's just go attack first. Get our loot. I guess I put this back. And let's cast the Rona. It might get condescended, and if it does, that's okay, I guess. If it doesn't, then we can combo kill next turn potentially. Although they're doing more pausing here than I would expect a gamer who's just trying to crack a map would do. Maybe they're reading Crystal Skull. That probably makes sense. All right, they keep a card on the top. They play a second Tron piece. They play a second map. They pass. So let me consciously decide to not play around another counterspell here. Cauldron the Fatestitcher. Notably, if this was the other card, it would be Infinite Combo. I think Fatestitcher is still decidingly better overall. And then we're not gonna, I guess we could combo if we draw another Fatestitcher here off this Gran-Gran trigger, we get to combo. Otherwise we get to hold up the Consign. Or maybe hit our land drop. Or maybe hit our land drop. Hitting land drop would be really nice to replicate the Consign. We don't get to do that. Did not draw the Fatestitcher either. And we pass with Consign up. They're not super likely to have Ugin in their hand, or because maybe they would have wanted to hold the map next turn to get another trigger. Not sure. If they do play Ugin, we probably counter the exile trigger instead of the other trigger. Yeah, no land to replicate. We've been mono blue troned really hard here. Don't want to hold up Consign. I was holding up Consign. I didn't hold up Replicate Consign. Maybe holding up Replicate Consign would be good, but we lose to Condescend next turn. What's the other card that isn't Fatestitcher? I can't remember. They're both 3 mana. They both suck. They just let Gran-Gran untap herself. One's from Lord of the Rings. One is from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. All right, let's keep it moving, I guess. So, you know what? I feel pretty good about both losses, honestly. Let's go ahead and add a Paradise Mantle over the Aether Spell Bomb and run it back. Is replicate free? No, I don't have 3 lessons in my graveyard. It's Paradise. The S and the C.